There are four general benefits for, I think, specifically graduate students on why meta-analysis is good for them. The first is about the fact that you are producing a very comprehensive data set, a comprehensive and exhaustive data set of all of the articles that you're reading. And like I said, this is similar to the lit review, but you have the added benefit of not necessarily needing to hedge or qualify statements. You can point to the data that you're using, being transparent about your inclusion and exclusion of the articles, and then you produce that single estimate that can really substantiate the claims that you're making in the narrative or literature review. And since you're using that single summary, again, you're able to visually show this and empirically demonstrate what you think the gaps in the literature are, where you think things should be moving forward. And so, like I said, if this is used as a complement to a narrative or lit review, then you have a nice, comprehensive, and exhaustive collection of the literature on a topic that you can also revisit. The second benefit is that there's the potential to expand the researcher's professional network. Maybe less important for more established faculty and scholars, but for someone like me, a grad student close to the job market, it's very helpful to be able to expand that network. Going to conferences is, of course, one way. But if you reach out to other researchers who you know work on this topic or a similar topic to see the type of work that they're doing, that's a really great way to make connections at the very least. You have a new paper for your meta-analysis, maybe best case scenario, it's a foot in the door for some research with someone else or maybe job opportunities, etc. This is something that we did, by the way. One of my colleagues sent out emails to all the people in the field of political science working on peacekeeping in the hopes that they have working papers or something like that that we can include. What the literature has done, for example, is to seek out conference papers from, I think it was the American Political Science Association. Costa then sought to use email listservs to contact colleagues, and then someone that I interviewed went so far as to go on and request papers on Twitter, send out emails on listservs, and then they contacted up to 100 people they knew were working on the topic. Again, this is a big benefit for graduate students to broaden your network or your professional network, can help with co-authorship or maybe job opportunities. The third benefit is, again, specifically for those working on their dissertations, this could serve as its own chapter. So, you can nicely check off one of the 5 or 6 or however many you're working on. The one out of 178 that I looked at in 2020 used it as an actual empirical chapter, though I think it could also work very nicely as maybe not a standalone chapter, but something that complements the theory or lit review chapter, again, to provide a little more empirical support for the claims that you're making. And it really helps set the stage for important questions that committee members or reviewers at journals might have, such as, one, what do we already know? And I think the lit review does a good job with this. And more important, I think, what are open questions in the literature that we don't know? And so by answering these questions with a meta-analysis, you're able to justify your contribution as well as bolstering the lit review. The final benefit is that the dataset can be used in the future as a searchable database. Imagine that you, again, have looked through hundreds of papers, you've coded them, now you're starting to write, maybe you're at the conclusion and you're wanting to say, what was that one certain operationalization of the dependent variable? I know in comparative politics, for example, it's the difference between democracy being measured at a 0-1 dichotomous scale versus a -10 to 10 more continuous scale. So you might want to look at who is doing that or how many. Maybe you're saying that most people are doing it wrong because they're focusing on the wrong operationalization. You can find the exact number of articles focused on that. You can also focus on, or if you're looking at the most cited article, maybe you're saying this is the most cited article despite using the wrong operationalization. Maybe looking at a certain type of estimation strategy, like an IV approach. Of course, this isn't an exhaustive list. Anything that you are forgetting, you're able to very quickly recall with that data set. People that we talked to have even said that they plan to use their data set, like Godefroy or a couple other people we interviewed, well beyond just that one publication or for their dissertation. In fact, they are planning to include more measures and studies for future projects. So at the very least, you can maybe think of this like comprehensive exams where you're studying a lot, you have all of this knowledge in your head, and then after comps, you maybe don't know it as well. Well, now you don't have to forget all of that stuff.